Hello again. It is Mr. Gerald, and we are in week 6 of our distance learning. This week and next week, so week 6 and 7, we will be talking about geometry. So I'm going to go over about 5 videos. These next, I take that back, 6 videos. We're doing 6 videos for today. I'll be posting them, and then you'll be able to use those videos over the next 2 weeks when we cover geometry. Okay, we're going to start talking about the basics of geometry. The basics of a circle. Before we do that, let's go back to our star reference sheet. I've got it posted on Google Classroom as well, so you can download that, take a picture, whatever you need to, using your star reference sheet. And I realize that your star reference sheet, you're not going to use that particular sheet this year, but you need to get used to it because you will use a star reference sheet similar to it next year in 8th grade. Okay. Or a handful of you that will be going to algebra, you'll all have a star reference sheet. Okay, particularly in this area we're talking about right now, we're talking about the basics of a circle. You're going to look right in this section where it says circumference, okay? And we're looking at the circumference of a circle, and you have 2 equations. Okay, those are the 2 equations for circumference of a circle. We have c is equal to 2 pi r, or c is equal to pi d. All right, and so that's the first piece that you'll see on the star reference sheet. And then we're going to come down here lower on the star reference sheet because we will see it later today. All right. Okay, you have the the section with area, and there's a section with volume. We're going to cover those on the next several videos. Okay, but let's get back to the basics of a circle. Okay, let's look at the basics of a circle. All right, let me come over to our circle packet. You're all going to moan and groan about this one, but yep, we looked at the basics of a circle. Okay, a circle has many specific parts, including and again, I'm going very quickly over this because we've done this before. Okay, so the distance from the center to the outer edge is the radius. Okay, and then d, which is the diameter. And then finally, the distance around the circle is the circumference. Okay, so if we've got the center here, okay, so this would be the radius. So you gotta go all the way to the edge there. Okay, all right, so then we have this piece is the diameter. Okay, but remember we talked about this before. What's important about the diameter? It must pass through the center. Okay, it must pass through the center. All right, and then finally, our circumference. Okay, our circumference is the distance around the circle. Okay, that's the distance around the circle. Okay, all right, any questions? Okay, great. So those are the parts of the circle that we're looking at. And then I'll remind you something that we talked about before. All right, and so when you're looking at the ratio, all right, when you're looking at the ratio of the circle, okay, when you set this ratio up, it's always going to be the ratio of circumference over diameter. Okay, C over D. Okay, so you'll say that, okay, so C over D, circumference over diameter. This ratio is known, that's our pi ratio. We went into that quite a bit in class, but I want to remind you, this is very important. Circumference over diameter. But you will see questions similar to this when it'll ask you, and you'll have to get it set up. C over D, which is circumference over diameter. Okay, these are our basics of a circle. Okay, let's see what we have next. All right, so then we're looking at circumference, and we talked about this already. The circumference of a circle is the distance around it. You can find it using 2 formulas. Okay, C is equal to pi d, or C is equal to 2 pi r. And then pi can be approximated to 3.14. This year you'll use 3.14 because you aren't using a calculator. In 8th grade you'll use a calculator, and I'm pretty sure I showed each of you this when we were in class with the calculators. Actually, that's not true. We didn't have a chance to show you. My intent was to show all the 7th graders, do a little bit of work on the calculators at the end of the year, and we never got to that. Pre-AP students did get a chance, but the general math did not. But you'll get that opportunity next year. When you're working these problems, I'll work one problem for you. When you work the problems, it depends on what you're given. If you've got the first formula, which says pi times d, and then the second formula tells us 2 pi r, what is given in the problem? And if you look at problem 1, this is the radius, that's r. So r is given. If r is given, I'm going to use, if r is given, I'm going to use the equation with the r. All right, and then you'll see this, the next problem, use another color here. The next problem has got a d, so we're going to use this equation. So when you're using circumference, you can choose either equation based off of what is given to you. But now we'll look at the first problem, and we have 2 pi, sorry, I need to write the entire equation. So formula circumference is 2 pi r, plug in the values. So circumference is equal to 2 times 3.14 times 6. Okay, remember we're going to use that 3.14. So what is 2 times 6? 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, all right. I got a little bit ahead of myself. Okay, so for that I apologize. Not yet. Let's leave that 3.14. Leave it as pi right now. Okay, sorry, I got ahead of myself. 2 times pi times 6. But what is 2 times 6? That's 12. So that would be C is equal to 12 pi. Okay. All right. I got ahead of myself. I apologize. We've done this before, so this is not new material. So now we have 12 pi. But what is pi? Pi is 3.14. 3.14. Okay. We're going to multiply that by 12. Okay. What do we get when we have 3.14 times 12? Okay. So we have an 8. Then we have a 2. Then we have a 6. And then we have a 0 there. Then we're going to have a 4, 1, 3. So we have an 8, 6, 7, 3. Okay, 37.68 inches. You all know how to multiply, so that's why I'm not going to spend a lot of time on multiplication. Okay, so that's how you find the circumference of a circle. Okay, those are the types of problems that you'll see. And remember, they're not all just going to be, please find the circumference of this circle. They're going to be problems similar to this below, okay, where they use your knowledge of a circumference and circles and answer those questions. Okay. All right. So if you got more questions, you can rewatch this video or shoot me a remind message or an email. All right. We'll see you on the next video.